Okay.
All right, the 30 Years' War. History is?
Cause
Cause and effect. Very good. We are fixing to talk about one of the direct causes of World War I, believe it or not. One of the direct causes of World War I, almost 300 years before the time. Okay, so let's talk about the 30 Years' War. One of the things that we want to remember is the time frame. There's a reason we call it 30 Years' War, right? Okay, so the 30 Years' War. Well, I mean, history's kind of weird. We say the War of 1812, but it wasn't just 1812. However, this one was 30 years. All right, where was it? The Holy Roman Empire. One of the key things to remember is, where is the Holy Roman Empire? Present day what? Germany, Poland, Austria, Hungary. Okay, that's kind of important as we think about the geography, because again, history is cause and effect. And one of the things that we're going to see as we go is this is one of the direct causes of World War I. Some background, again, sorry about the formatting when I uploaded it. But number one, the Reformation happened, right? Okay, we remember that. We're still talking about the Reformation. By the way, this is chapter 12. We also saw the Peace of Augsburg. Why the Peace of Augsburg? What's important about the Peace of Augsburg?
It was it made it so they could choose whether they want to be Catholic or
They're very good. It decided whether the leaders would decide, right? Yeah. The leaders of the little city-states would decide which religion. Would they be Catholic or would they be Protestant? All right? Super important, because here, 50 years later, actually 60 years later, we see the breakout of a war. These wars of religion, and the 30 Years' War especially, what we're really thinking about is Protestant or Catholic. Protestant or Catholic. Protestant or Catholic. Protestant or Catholic. Turns into Protestant versus Catholic. Okay? A lot of places and a lot of times turns into Protestant versus Catholic. We do not see John Calvin in this yet. Okay? No John Calvin right now. Lutheran or Catholic. I should say Lutheran or Catholic, not just Protestant. Okay? In this area, it's Lutheran or Catholic. Catholic, excuse me. 4 phases to the whole local religion thing. Sorry about the formatting there. The main thing is the 4 phases that you need to look at. Okay, 4 phases, and we'll kind of clear this up in a minute. You have the Bohemian, the Danish, the Swedish, and the French. Please note that these are all geographical regions that we're going to talk about. All of these are geographical regions. The only one that is not really in the Holy Roman Empire, the present-day Germany, Austria, Hungary, all that good stuff, is the French. Okay. However, here is the general area of Bohemia. The Bohemian phase in the modern-day Czech Republic. Okay. They have a Catholic ruler. However, many Protestant people. Catholic ruler, many Protestant people. Okay? And remember, the problem with the leaders getting to decide is a lot of times what? You change leaders. When you change leaders, you might have a new religion. Okay? So that's kind of one of the things that come on. They are tolerant on the Habsburg Empire. Excuse me, the Habsburg Empire is tolerant on Protestants, okay? Through a letter of majesty. In this country, we hear the term executive order. Matter of fact, yesterday all over the news is that Donald Trump was signing different executive orders. One of the main ones was pull us out of a trade agreement called the TPP, right? Well, a letter of majesty is similar to our executive orders. Basically, the person in charge sends a letter out and says, hey, let's not kill them any longer. Let's be tolerant of Protestants. Okay? And that comes from the Holy Roman Empire. However, Ferdinand II revokes this. Ferdinand II revokes this, says we are no longer going to be tolerant on Protestants. Okay? No longer. So no longer do the local rulers get to decide. He says, we're done with that. Let's everybody be what? Catholic. Okay? So, the defenestration of Prague. Prague is in present-day Czech Republic, a very, what would you say, ancient. It's not like really ancient, but it is definitely an older city, okay? An older city of the Czech Republic. And what they do, the defenestration, they start building up the defenses. Defense is referring to what? When we talk about defense, what are we talking about? And when we're talking about countries. Military, right? If we're building up our defense, we're building up our military. Defense refers to protecting ourselves. Okay? In this case, they threw somebody out the window.
Wait, how high was the window?
I don't know.
I mean, you can throw somebody out the window that's like 2 feet off the ground.
Ideal.
You said you didn't know.
I just don't like to get ahead of me.
Well, that's
Why?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'll never lie without telling you the truth. Or will I? 70 feet window. They threw someone out a 70-foot window. Who was that someone? He was the local ruler who brought the letter from Ferdinand II saying you cannot no longer be Protestant. So this starts a problem. Ferdinand II comes in, says, hey, wait a minute, I'm the ruler. You killed my representative. There's going to be trouble. And then the Battle of White Mountain happens. The Battle of White Mountain happens from the start of this throwing out the window. The Catholics win. Very decisively do they win. Okay, Battle of White Mountain. The Catholics win. Do what now? One of the Ferdinand II's representatives. Ferdinand II's representatives. Trying to enforce Ferdinand II's rules and laws. Okay? So, here we go. If we keep score, Catholics 1, Protestants 0. And then we see the Danish phase. The Danish phase, okay? Way up north of Europe. Alright, with the Danish phase, there's a Lutheran king. Says, wait a minute, the Catholics are attacking Protestant peoples. So the Lutheran king of Denmark invades the Holy Roman Empire to help. Okay? Invades the Holy Roman Empire to help. Alright? Guess what?
Fury.
I don't know.
Papa Squad.
Pope Squad is what that's called. The Pope Squad. Sorry, I'm trying to get to. They get beat is basically what these PowerPoints are referring to. They get beat. They get kicked out of the Holy Roman Empire. The Pope Squad defeats them, and we now have a score of 2-0. Catholics up. By the way, I'm hoping that's not true when it's Catholic and Panthers on that scoreboard.
What kind of school is Restoration? Catholic.
Silence. And then we have the Swedish phase. Swedish phase. Okay? Gustavus Adolphus. Hey, don't laugh. where the name Adolf Hitler come from.
Yeah.
Actually, he wasn't named after this guy, but Adolf is one of Adolphus, right? He's king of Sweden. He is a Lutheran. He says, "Hey, we'll come help," and so he does. He comes in riding, and he comes in to help, and we kind of consider him the father of modern warfare. He is one of the first to use cannons in battle. He transports cannons. They make a really big boom, and they have a really big bullet called a cannonball, right? Y'all seen those before, hopefully?
Yes.
Or pictures of
When
them.
you jump,
Do it in
when you jump on the
so-
backboard.
Yeah, and then you throw it in the pool.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So the father of modern warfare comes in. We even have drawings of the battlefield. Okay. So we have here the Battle of Brightonfield. The Battle of Brightonfield. Do what?
We're talking about cannonballs.
I said my dad used to do that. And we had a two-story house, and the water would like splash all the way up to the top.
Here we see the movements of the Battle of Brightonfield. Look, what can we determine here? What can we determine here?
That the Gustavus people,
They retreated.
It looks like they're retreating, right? They bring up the mobile artillery. Here they go. Swedish swords, French funds.
French fries.
Fun.
He's recorded.
Swedish swords, French funds.
French
They
fries.
use the money. The French send in money to the Swedes, believe it or not.
His face.
How do I do this with my dad?
You just tell me to shut up.
Nicer. I was going to say it nicer. So the Pope says, what's going on here? The French are Catholic. Why are they sending money to the Swedes? France is a Catholic country. They believe in politics over religion. Politics is starting to run out. The Cardinal Richelieu was a maybe y'all heard of the Three Musketeers?
Yeah.
Anybody? Anybody?
Yes.
Huh?
All for one and one for all.
Yep, it's a candy
D'Artagnan
bar.
wasn't made a musketeer until later. Come on, guys.
It's a candy bar.
So Cardinal Richelieu was a very corrupt cardinal who wanted to rule England because King Louis XIV was the boy king. Remember the other day we talked about when you're a child, somebody else makes decisions for you?
Yes.
We're going to talk about Cardinal Richelieu later when we get into absolutism, which is our very next chapter. With absolutism, Cardinal Richelieu kind of made the decisions for the boy king in France at the time. He was more worried about politics and gaining power. And he's a cardinal. He gave money to Protestants to fight Catholics. Balance of power corrupted there. Dominions over the house of Habsburg. He wanted to gain power over the house of Habsburg. And so rest in peace. Once the king dies, Gustavus Adolphus' death in battle led to a decline in Swedish activity in the 30 Years' Wars. Okay? And, however, the Protestants still win. So now we have Catholics 2, Protestants 1. Are y'all keeping up with that?
Yes.
You don't have to, I am for you. But anyway, here we go. So, and then there is the French phase. Cardinal Richelieu of France, as one time they flip it over. Cardinal Richelieu kind of loses power. The French comes in there. Swedish stacks, French fist. There is a flip there. France is providing no longer a lot of money. They start to fight with the Swiss. So with the French coming in, who is winning in 1648, they decide this is really getting old. We really start to see a back and forth. And it really becomes inconclusive. Nobody really wins the 30 Years of War. What? 30 years wasted. Did they just stop? They kind of did just stop with the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. Oh. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648. Okay? One of the things that the Peace of Westphalia did is it weakened the Holy Roman Emperor. Okay? The Peace of Westphalia goes back to reinforces basically the Peace of Augsburg, which said the leaders get to decide. With the Peace of Westphalia, it took it a little bit further and said, with this, that not only do the princes get to decide, but it gives them more power to rule their own area. Okay? So, with that, we see the breakup of the Holy Roman Empire. We see the breakup of the Holy Roman Empire. To the north, we have Dutch Netherlands, independent. We see Alsace, again, direct cause of World War II. The Alsace-Lorraine area, the Alsace goes to France. Since the Peace of Westphalia, the 30 Years' War, that area right there will be an area, a region, a territory of contention all the way up to World War II, and a major cause of World War I and II. Okay? Switzerland down at the bottom there becomes independent confederation. The Brandenburgs gain territory up above the Holy Roman Empire. The Brandenburgs kind of more of present-day Germany and present-day Poland. Okay? So what we see here is the kingdoms break up. This part is one of the direct causes of World War I. The direct causes of World War I. It weakens the Holy Roman Empire, which is the HRE there. Okay? Right. So with the breakup, the balance of power is tipped to the independent Germanic states now. Okay? The declining power of the Holy Roman Empire, again, gives France a boost in power. This time, the Peace of Westphalia. After the Peace of Westphalia, we see the rise in power of France, the decline in power of the Holy Roman Empire. And the Holy Roman Empire is declining, so is Spain's power. Helped out by the defeating of the Spanish Armada that we talked about yesterday. Okay? So here we go. Remember before I made mention to backtrack and said it was Lutherans versus Catholics. Here we start to see the teachings of John Calvin coming in. Rulers in the Holy Roman Empire itself now adopt Calvinism as a religion. So not only do we have Calvinism, or not only do we have Lutheranism and Catholicism, we also have Calvinism now. It is important to note, make sure that you understand that Calvinism, John Calvin and Martin Luther did not agree very well on many things, okay, as far as the way things should be ran. It looks like in their teachings they agree, but there are some big differences in those. There are a couple of differences, and those couple of differences are big difference according to them at this time. Okay? What we do see from the Peace of Westphalia is the freedom of private worship. We don't see any longer in one area is Protestant and another area is Catholicism. Here we start to see Protestantism on one side of the street and Catholicism on the other. Okay? So on one corner the church might be Catholic, on the other corner the church might be a Protestant church, either Calvinism or Lutheranism at this time. Okay? And again, just some little funny cartoon sound bites I like to. Let's not kill each other over religion anymore. And the other one says, yeah, what he said, okay? So basically, we're tired of fighting. There's no sense in killing each other over religion. So we stop with the Peace of Westphalia. this was the last major religious war in Europe. However, the end of violence accompanied the Reformation with the Peace of Westphalia. So 1618 to 1648. However, we do need to talk about the French Wars of Religion. Okay? The French Wars of Religion. Slow down, let you the 30 Years' War marked kind of the end of violence. The Peace of Westphalia in particularly. Okay. Frank H. Wars of Religion. Sorry, that is rather aggravating to me. But
Nothing I can do about it. Whenever I imported it in your box.
yes, actually, they're worse about it. They're worse a little bit. All right, so the French Wars of Religion. Okay, we have the Huguenots. Huguenots are simply French Protestants. Okay, these French Protestants are mainly Calvinists. Okay, well they are Calvinists. Not mainly, they are. Okay, in the Holy Roman Empire, you see Lutherans versus Catholics. Here we see Huguenots versus Catholics or Calvinists. Okay, so Huguenots. Okay, Huguenots versus Catholics. Please notice the line there drawn from France. France is its only ruling power, separate from the Holy Roman Empire. Catherine of Medici, or Catherine de Medici. Okay, remember that D simply means of, right? Catherine of Medici is the Queen of France at the time. Catherine's sons helped to make up the Valois dynasty. Five sons. That was a show. Doing it?
She did good.
She did good? Why?
Because she carried on the royalty.
But what if she would have had a daughter?
Then she
Well, then there's another
May not have, but she's queen. Queen Elizabeth says that's not true, and so does Mary before her. Right? Right? So some difficult choices being made. But she did have 3 sons, which did more legitimize her heirship, and so you're right, she did do good. Alright, so she is the Queen Regent, okay? Queen Regent. Whenever you have males involved, okay, you get letters. Just kidding. Whenever you have males involved, you usually have the Queen Regent, okay? The Queen Regent is basically is the ruler over it, okay? Her 3 sons are given the power. They are kind of officially in charge. However, the Queen Regent basically controls them like a puppet.
Oh, I like that.
There were, one of the things that happened here is there were 20,000 Huguenots killed on the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. There was a celebration on St. Bartholomew's Day, and with that, the army moved in, or not necessarily army. There were some soldiers, but it wasn't an army invading. There were soldiers, though.
I bet
20,000 Protestants killed.
that took forever. Like they were fighting for like hours.
Quite honest. As a matter of fact, it was if memory serves me correctly, I think it was actually kind of a 2-day ordeal.
Why does he
That's
look
all
like
I
a
know. Those are the best
I think so. Just the fighting. But it started on St. Bartholomew's Day.
How many?
Over 20,000. Over 20,000. That is a huge number. Yes, sir. Why not? You never know where Waldo's at.
That's like half the person.
It's way more than half Pascagoula. I think if memory serves me correctly, I think Pascagoula, inside Pascagoula, 22,000 people.
That's like all.
I think so. Don't quote me. Actually, that's not true.
Because like even like if that was to happen like yes, like this population, like this whole school would be like this. That's like this whole school.
Yeah.
And then
The population of Pascagoula is way more than 23,000. Excuse me. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that.
but it's not too much above that. I don't think it's, I don't think,
Ocean's free.
I don't
It's
think,
not that big.
I don't
That's-
think
Oh, I
it's
have
too
to
much,
look it up.
I don't think it's too much higher than 20.
We'll have to look it up. Henry the Fourth. Henry is the Protestant king of Navarre. Navarre is a city in Florida that a lot of people like to go to in vacation. But it is named after the city in France. Okay, city of Navarre. Henry the Fourth is king, which doesn't give him much power overall, except that he's just a really, really rich guy ruling over the land of Navarre. He does defeat the Catholic League. Okay, so he joins in it, and one of the things that they do is they have a mass to celebrate. It is a political kind of fight with him. Remember, politique is politics over religion. Henry the Fourth is looking more to gain power than to worry about religion, because Henry the Fourth himself was a practicing Catholic. Okay, remember Cardinal Richelieu. He and Henry the Fourth kind of get into it. We have the Edict of Nantes in 1598. The Edict of Nantes is very important. Okay, very important. What the Edict of Nantes basically does is it gives them religious toleration. The year, by the way, you want to go back to the year? 1598. Okay, 1598. The Edict of Nantes is a document passed, and you must know the Edict of Nantes. An edict is basically a decree, a law, a decision, a compromise by the rulers that be. In the Edict of Nantes, it says religious toleration. We will tolerate the Huguenots. Okay? We will tolerate the Huguenots. Gives them freedom of religion. Okay? They can worship in Protestant church if they want to. That's about it, though. Okay? That is about it. Okay? Religious toleration. The House of Bourbon, okay? House of Bourbon comes to power. The Bourbon monarchs rule France up until the French Revolution. Okay? King Louis the 14th, 15th, and 16th all come from the House of Bourbon. Important when we talk about Enlightenment and the French Revolution. Some key points of this time period. Okay? Number one, Huguenots, French Catholics. I'm sorry, French Protestants. Huguenots are French Protestants. The Queen of Medici is not Protestant. She is the Queen of France. The St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre killed 20,000 peasants. Henry IV of Navarre, Protestant. After the defeat of the Catholic League, they signed the Edict of Nantes. The House of Bourbon succeeds the Valois dynasty. The French Wars of Religion, kind of very short. One of the main things to remember, Edict of Nantes. It's super important. It gave the Huguenots freedom of worship. Any questions? No questions? Are y'all sure?
The freedom of